Hey people, how's it going? Welcome to another video. Welcome to another episode of Albums Ranked. This is episode 39, so we're nearly up to 40. And today we are going to be counting down the picks for BURZUM. We're going to do the one-man black metal project from Norway, BURZUM, however you want to pronounce it. There's no real need to go into any introduction as to who BURZUM are or who Varg Vikernes is. He's obviously a huge figure in the early Norwegian black metal scene, the true Norwegian black metal scene, with the church burnings and also with the murder of Euronymous from Mayhem, which put him in prison for 21 years, but he was released after 15, I think, for good behavior. I'm not sure. He released some pretty influential black metal albums in the early 90s and then got arrested and then proceeded to release some synthy, pure synth stuff, if whatever you want to call it, and then later on did some ambient stuff. That's the word I was looking for before, ambience. So yeah, there's like three eras of BURZUM in my opinion. You've got obviously the black metal era, the prison era, and then the later half. So yeah, it was a journey to go through this, so because a lot of these albums were quite long. So yeah, it took a while to get there, but hey, we finally did it. So before we get started, as always, let me know down below what your favorites are and we'll get a conversation going and it will be awesome. But let's see what comes in at the bottom at number 13. So coming in at number 13 is The Ways of Yore from 2014. This album, I've seen a lot of people put this one at the bottom and I can definitely understand why. It's definitely leans towards the more ambient side, the more synthy, dungeony stuff that Varg did later in life. And to be honest, yeah, this one got boring real quick. Weirdly enough, in my opinion, the only good thing to say about it is the album art. Like the second half of, well, not even that, more so all these BURZUM album arts are pretty damn beautiful to look at, maybe give or take one or two at the top of my head. But like they're pretty, like that album right there, it looks quite metal, This is this one a concept album? I'm not sure. Oh, what does it say here? I tried to transport the listener to the days of yore to make them feel the past and they're still alive in their own blood. So it's a very religious driven album, but at the same time, it's ambience. So it can only do so much for you. Do you know what I mean? Like Hail Odin went on for way too long, even though it's only a 3-minute song. This album went on for way too long. It was an hour 8. All these ambient ones are well over an hour. So it was just like, oh God, it was tough to get through, But thankfully, since it's ambient music, you can kind of put it on and do other things. So yeah, without rambling too much about the bottom stuff, number 13, Ways of Yore. Number 12 is Thulian Mysteries from 2020. I'm pretty sure that's how you say it. I'm not entirely sure with the little asterisk-y thing above the E. Thulian Mysteries. I'd heard a lot of people say that this wasn't Varg's best work either. And lo and behold, I think the exact same. More or less because this one isn't obvious. This is another ambient one. This is more dungeony, synthy type stuff. But rather than, following any kind of at least the last one was about paganism and stuff. This one is recorded as a soundtrack to Varg's role-playing game, My Farog. The album follows the medieval, dark, ambient musical style of the previous albums. And since Varg's true passion has, apparently, according to this, his true passion has never actually been music, but actually tabletop role-playing games. What an absolute nerd. And he figured he should make an album intended for that use. So this is the background music for his game. And this went on forever. This album goes for 90 minutes of ambient stuff, and it was just, good Lord. It's a lot of 1-minute tracks, a lot of, it's an ambient soundtrack, right? So you're not gonna expect a lot, apart from when you get down to the end, like the password, which I've just seen is 15 minutes long. Didn't need that. But from the only real memory of what I have from this album being good is Gathering of Herbs, track 5 from the first chunk of it. Yeah, it was just folky and medieval and type of thing. It's folk. So I was like, that's fun. Did I add it to my playlist though? No, I didn't. Yeah, so not my favorite. Won't listen to it again, probably, because it's so long and it didn't. That's half the reason why it's down this low, is because of how long this album is. So yeah, number 12, Thulian Mysteries. Number 11 is the album that I can't pronounce and most of us can't pronounce, Heelskalf, however you say that. This is BURZUM's 6th studio album, and this one is from 1999. This is a prison album. Yeah, this is the 2nd prison album. And while the reason this goes quite low for me, because I've seen this one get chucked up high quite a bit in some people's listings, it's because I just didn't really find it memorable or catchy enough, captivating enough to be like, oh, play that part again, that was fun. You know, what I was blessed with though is the fact that this one was only half an hour long. It's 33 minutes, and I was like, cool, this will be fun. But again, because it's ambient stuff, it felt like it took about 4 days. The Death of Wotan, you know, all the stuff is in Norwegian as well, so thankfully there's track listings that have been translated, like the first song, Tuistos Hers, which is Tuisto's heart. Der Tod Wotan, the Death of Wotan. So that's cool. Like I say, it was okay. It's very dark, and the vibe of it is quite evil and scary-ish. But like looking at the album cover, you kind of want to expect that. But yeah, I just didn't think. I didn't like it. You know, I'm not really probably going to listen to this one again. And if I am, it's not going to be for another 5 years. So yeah, number 11 is Heelskalf. Number 10 is Sol Ostan Mani Vestan, which translates to East of the Sun, West of the Moon. That's a cool name. And again, look at that cool album cover. That's pretty damn metal, and that's pretty damn sick. And it's such a shame that the rest of the album doesn't really match the quality of that picture. This is BURZUM's 3rd instrumental electronic, the synthy one, and while it's better than the others, it's still a bit down low, purely because it's an ambient album. You know, I listen to BURZUM for black metal, and I listen to it for harsh, raw black metalness, which is not what you get on these second half albums. Sol Ostan Mani Vestin wasn't bad, like it's starting to get good now, but like there was a lot of parts that I could do without. This is an hour long for a start. Again, another long ambient album. There were moments, like I keep saying, there were moments on here that were cool. God knows what they were though, looking at the tracks. I'm just like, who knows where those favorite melodies were? I should have taken notes. But yeah, it's okay. We're starting to get into the kind of good stuff for BURZUM now, you know, but again, I'm probably not going to listen to this one again, at least not in a hurry, because it's ambience and it's dark dungeon synthy stuff. So yeah, if you like all the dark dungeon synthy stuff, awesome. I don't hate it. Like, I like it enough to listen to brand new stuff. Like, I'd never heard these dungeon synthy albums before until now, so it was fine to get through. They made great falling asleep. They make great ambience for falling asleep too. So like, yeah. Just like I said, when I listen to BURZUM, I listen to black metal. So yeah, let's get through these ambient ones quicker, right? So Sol Ostan Mani Vestin, number 10. Coming in at number 9 is the most recent album, The Land of Thule. This was okay. So this is an interesting album. So at first, I actually wasn't sure if it really was BURZUM, because I was just like, it could be anybody. But after doing a tiny bit of research, I gathered that it was. This album came out literally like, what, a month ago, 2 months ago, like at the end of April, I think. And while it's better than the ambient stuff, it's very borderline black metal ambience, if that makes sense. It's very, I don't know what the word is. It's very hypnotic. It's very repetitive. It's not the longest album. It's like 42 minutes or something like that. And while the riffs and the melodies were cool, I did feel like it was just a bit like I say, it's black metal ambience. So if you could imagine like the same black metal riff and the same black metal drum going for a while, so pretty much Transylvanian hunger, but without the mad level of bad production, kind of like that. Like, it was just a very all the same type of album, I thought. The Magic of the Grave and The Hidden Name, I thought they were cool. The Call of the Kraken, which is really, really long, I'm pretty sure. That one's fun. And The Winds of the Vanished Realm was fun. I'm pretty sure that was the right one. But like, and Varg's vocals in it, when you hear the vocals in it, obviously that was like a dead set guarantee that it was BURZUM. Obviously, it's not exactly spoken word. Like, it is, but it's like spoken whispers. And it was weird, I think is the best word for it. It was interesting because like you have these harsh black metal riffs that are going just straight or whatever, and then you get hush. You get Varg's vocals whispered, spoken over the top of it. It was just a weird blend, and I was just like, oh, okay. But like, yeah, it's black metal ambient, so it's not horrible. I didn't hate it. Would I listen to it again? Probably, just to get more used to it. But yeah, that's where the new one goes. Number 9, The Land of Thule. Number 8, Skiptar. Finally, a name that we can actually pronounce. This is, I've just read, Old Norse for Metamorphosis. This album came out in 2012. Obviously, he was out of prison by this point. This album was interesting. There were some moments on here that were quite nice, and there were moments on here that were quiet. There were moments on here that were loud. And it's more of a, is this a black metal album? Yes and no. There were just some really cool moments on here, as like, it was better than everything that we've heard so far. Another fully blown Norwegian album, so don't bother trying to master any of the lyrics. Bloodstocken, which is soaked in blood. That was cool. Thought that was fun. Jol, which is deities, I've learned just now. That was fun. I remember that one being cool. Hit Helga Tre, that was fun. A good 7-minute one. Alpha Dance, the 10-minute song. That was fun. Eerie and creepy in parts. But yeah, this is a fun album. It's quite slow, and it is a bit, it took a while. It's 66 minutes. That's metal. But, it was just very, it was like, okay, cool. I would listen to Skiptar again. It's a bit, is it underrated? I don't know. I've seen people put it down the bottom, but yeah, it was a good time. So I'd recommend it. So yeah, number 9, Skiptar. I need to keep my list up in front of me. I meant to say number 8. Number 7 is Fallen from 2011. This album was fine. Again, it's hard to compare everything that comes after the classics. Do you know what I mean? That's what I mean when I say fine, but it's got much more black metalness to it, so that was good. And another full-blown Norwegian one. This one was 47 minutes, so anything after that is where I start to complain about an album being too long, 40 minutes and whatnot. This one was cool. I did have fun with it. The album cover, I thought it kind of reminded me of the Dark Chest of Wonders Nightwish album cover, just a lot less fancy like. But no, I thought this one was cool. It was good fun. Fra Verden Street, which is From the World Tree, that was cool. Great opener. Jagdfala, I thought that was I think that was catchy. And at first I wasn't sure what he was saying, but that one I just thought was fun. Vanvid was cool, and the last song, Tilhord, what is it? Oh, I can't read it. Hang on. Tilhel or Tilbake igen. To hell, I'm back again. These albums are cool. If you like black metal, this one's pretty awesome. So yeah, number 7, Fallen. Number 6 is Belus. So this one comes out in 2010, and this one was sort of the comeback BURZUM album, you could say, because this one came out after a massive 11-year hiatus, which I imagine would have something to do with the fact that he was in prison for so long. But yeah, this one is a bit of an epic album. Do you know what I mean? This one is 50 minutes long, and it tells a story of it's telling a story where Virkenes suggests that Belus is the oldest known Proto-Indo-European name for the life and death rebirth deity that is reflected in the Norse Baldur and the Greek Apollo, the Ghoulish Belinus, and the Slavic Biolog, meaning white god among others. So it's another religiously driven album. Do you know what I mean? Varg being very religious in his paganism stride, really, really cool stuff. Probably because of that is what makes this album a little bit better than the rest, You've got a 30-second intro, which is always so much fun. And then you've got Belus Dod, which is Belus's death. This was fun. If you open this one on Spotify, it has some pretty awesome, I'm pretty sure I don't think it's the lyrics when you read the songs. It's just what the album's about. I think so yeah, that was, the story about it was pretty cool. Yeah, Gleemensimp Elf, The River of Forgiveness was a big 12-minute song, so that was fun as well. The Sword Dance, that's always good fun, 2.5-minute little thing there. I think I remember Dawn being cool as well. So yeah, this one was great, and this, I don't know why, but I do quite like this album cover. I like the whole tree thing on the side, and it's just if it is a tree, it's how I see it anyway. It's peeking around the side, so that's fun. Yeah, it's a good album. Would start recommending all of these now. So yeah, number 6, Belus. Number 5, how do you say this one? Dowdy Boulders. I've heard people, give this one a bit of flack because it's his first. It's the first Prison album, right? This is album 5, and unlike Burzum's Bit of It, which is much better, this is an ambient album. Yeah, obviously. So this one is an ambient album, like I just suggested. However, I got much more of a kick out of Dowdy Boulders than I do all the other ambient ones, more or less because it's not so much ambience like you hold a chord for 20 minutes and then change it for another 20 minutes. This one had melody, and this one sort of had different instruments in it. Do you know what I mean? Different synthesizer sounds, and it was very medieval sounding, and it kind of reminded me a bit of, if you're a fan, it kind of reminded me of Ricky Wakeman's King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table. That whole keyboard-driven thing about the whole medieval knights and whatnot. It's quite minimalistic, this album. It's quite repetitive, in certain places, but like, I just thought it was kind of fun. Do you know what I mean? It's all in Norwegian again, but that's all right. Don't worry about that. It's I just think it's pretty fun. Like, I got a kick out of the melodies, and yeah, it's just one dude in prison with a piano going, making an album of it. But I thought it was fun. I would definitely play this one again, and it's obviously, in my opinion, his best ambient work. So if you are like me, awesome. If you don't like this one so much, that's fine. I think it's cool. Yeah, the first song, The Death of Balder, which goes for 9 minutes, I thought it was great. And, there are just cool moments on here throughout the whole thing. It's a quick album. It's 40 minutes, but, there's a 9-minute song and a 10-minute song, another 9-minute song. So there's longer and then there's short stuff. So yeah, if you're into that, go check it out. Number 5, Dowdy Boulders. It's classic Burzum time now. Number 4 is Det som en gang var, which translates to what once was. This is a full-blown black metal album. This is the stuff that we listen to Burzum for. However, this one is still great, don't get me wrong, but it does fall short of the others that we haven't talked about yet. This one came out in 1993. So this one was released in August 1993, but it was recorded in April 92. So if you try and figure out when Euronymous was murdered, when did he die? August 10th, 1993, I think. So it was released just as that happened. So that's quite funny. The album cover is awesome, and if you zoom in quite close enough, you can see the little dude from the debut chilling at the bottom. So that's pretty metal. What's awesome about this album is pretty much, like I said, it's a standard metal album, it's black metal, it sounds good. But what I really, really love about here is Key to the Gate and Lost Wisdom. The riff on Lost Wisdom, when I heard that, I was like, dun, 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 dun. I was like, oh, damn, that's catchy black metal right there. And, there's some other awesome moments on here that just, make this album so much better than all the others we've talked about. But yeah, there's better ones, in my opinion. So yeah, great album, but still. Number 4, Det som en gang var. Number 3 for me is the debut Burzum from 1992. This was released in March of 1992. And like I just said in En gang var, this little dude here in this little creepy shadow thing is on the album cover of that album. So go zoom in and you'll find it. What's there to say about this insane black metal album? If that hasn't been said already, this is some pretty harsh, scary stuff to the average listener. Do you know what I mean? Like if you want to get into some more extreme music, I would say listen to this, but at the same time, I would try ease them into it with other things first. This is pretty harsh and pretty rough and pretty freaky to someone who hasn't heard it before. But because we've heard it several times, we know that it's actually so good. Side 1, or in this case, Side Hate, I've just noticed. Feeble Screams from Forests Unknown. That's pretty much every track on here is damn good. This album itself as well also includes the little Ask EP. I don't think that's how you pronounce Ask, but that's how I'm saying it. Which are the last 3 tracks on here. That awesome Burn Church album cover. Yeah, that's what that is. Aya, Lord of the Depths. I think this word Deeps. Sorry, not Depths. That's awesome. The vocals on that sound awful, and it's just awesome. Black Spell of Destruction. If you've seen Lords of Chaos, if you haven't seen Lords of Chaos, I would say go watch it, but don't take it too seriously because it's a bit of a piss take of a movie. But it's a movie about black metal and Varg and mayhem, and I think it's great fun. It's stupid, but it's fun. And I love the scene where BURZUM's album turns up, like the first press or whatever, and he's like, oh my god, it's so cool, because they have awesome American accents, even though they're from Norway. And he goes, no, they printed it wrong. It should be Spell of Destruction, not Black Spell of Destruction. And Euronymous is like, no, I changed it. And he's like, why? Because it's better with black. And they just stare at each other like, oh, okay. So it's funny that Black Spell of Destruction is on here. Is that true? Did Euronymous change it? Who knows? War. The incredibly ripped off Bathory song. That one's great. Ha! War! Wow. You know, even apart from that, the riff is great. But yeah, I Lost the Forgotten Sad Spirit, My Journey to the Stars. It's awesome stuff, honestly. This is a scary album, but it's what we listen to BURZUM for. So yeah, number 3 is the self-titled debut. Number 2 is Philosophem. This is pretty much like the debut. This is one very, very famous album in terms of black metal circles. This album came out in 1996, so this came out while he was in prison. So, but it was recorded in 1993. So he recorded a bunch of stuff and then released them gradually. It's kind of smart, just given what happened. This is probably, people say that this is the very first foreshadow of like the atmospheric black metal genre, and I kind of agree with that, because this album is completely drowned in fuzz pedals and whatnot. You know, if you think Transylvanian Hunger sounds funny and you haven't heard this, you see what I mean by the comparison, but that's just bad production. This is just really fuzzy guitars. There's some incredibly famous songs on here, like Dunkelheit. That one's great. If you haven't heard that song, go listen to it. But yeah, we all know how that goes with that riff and that weird little, what is that pad thing? I don't know. Jesus Todd, The Death of Jesus, I'm pretty sure is what that translates to. That's awesome fun. This album is freaking long again, but in a way, it's much more bearable, because it's only the last song on here that is the mission. You know, everything on here, well, even Dunkelheit is a long song, and Jesus Todd is nearly 9 minutes as well. But like, how do you even say it? It's so long and it's hard to read on here because the print is so fine. So I'm reading it online. Rotgang av den transcendental ig hentens stotte, which translates to circumambulation. What? Circumambulation of the transcendental columns of singularity is a 25-minute ambient track, and it's probably one of the better ones. I've listened to that on numerous times when I've tried to go to sleep, and it works. You know, it's just the same little figure repeated over and over, and it works. But aside from that, honestly, this album is infamous, and it's got one of the coolest, it's got a cool album cover, you know, I think it's awesome. So yeah, if you haven't heard this one, I do recommend you go listen to it. That's BURZUM's Philosophem at number 2. Which means, team, that in my opinion, the best BURZUM album coming in at number 1 is Vis Lyset Ta Os, which translates to If the Light Takes Us. This is 4 tracks, and it's about what I read this just before. According to Verkiness, Vis Lyset Ta Os is a concept album about what once was, before the light took us and we rode into the castle of the dream, into emptiness. It's something like beware the Christian light. It will take you into degeneracy and nothingness. And what others call light, I call darkness. See the darkness in hell, you will find nothing but evolution. Okay, this is a 45-minute album, and it is 4 tracks long. And weirdly enough, the album that the number 4 album, Det Song Ingang Va, is the same as the first track on this album, but they're unrelated. So Det Song Ingang Va, the song on here, is actually awesome. I really love it. It's 15 minutes long, but again, it's those repeated riffs that just make you go, damn, that is catchy. You know what I mean? And the title track, Vis Lyset Ta Os, If the Light Takes Us, you know, that was 8 minutes as well, and that's great fun. It's just, again, the repeated riffs and the harsh vocals and the bad production. It just honestly makes it so fun. The others are great, but this one is awesome. If I have to recommend one BURZUM album to people, it would be Lyset Ta Os. Honestly, it's amazing. In I slotted Fadrolem into the castle for the dream. That was like, it's all great. Honestly, it's a fantastic album. And if you haven't heard it, I do highly recommend you go listen to it. So yeah, number 1 for me is that, I just lost my voice. So yeah, number 1 for me is Vis Lyset Ta Os. awesome as team. Thank you so much for hanging out with me while I sit here and get increasingly more passionate about BURZUM albums. That took a bit longer than I thought. Some of them I realized I had a bit more to say than others, but you know, it is what it is. Like I said at the start, let me know down below what your favorite BURZUM album is. Are you like me? Can you just totally live without all the ambient dark dungeon stuff and live for the black metal? Or are you the other way around? Can Philosophem and the title track just disappear and listen to just pure synth? You know, get the conversation flowing. That's what we know and love. Keep an eye out for Albums Ranked episode 40. It's going to be a bit left field in terms of like genres and whatnot, so that's going to be fun. I've got some more silly little ranks coming out your way. Should be there soon. But until that happens, everybody, stay inside, stay safe, listen to metal, and I'll see you all in the next video. See you later.